I was already dressed up from school today, so I figured I'd shoot this video right away getting home. But this week I batched my Instagram content pretty seriously for the first time. I've done bits and spurts of it when I was doing more coffee stuff in the past, but this was the first experiment with filming a whole bunch of scripted videos and a whole bunch of B-roll, and then piecing things together and scheduling it throughout the week. Then Monday, I was prepping a bunch of chicken for the week and started to think about this idea of batch cooking, of batch prepping, how I both love it. I use it all the time with my food and my job and now my content, but how it also sometimes takes away from the stuff I enjoy and maybe isn't as helpful as I think it's going to be in the first place. If you're new here, my name's Thomas. I'm a high school teacher and coffee enthusiast, and I'm taking some of the lessons I learned in the classroom and seeing how they apply to other areas of my life as well. Like I said this week, I'm talking about batch preparing things and whether or not it helps me live more intentionally or actually takes away from being as intentional as I want to. So the most obvious example of this in my life has to be my food and coffee. I've taught coffee classes. I've also taught some cooking classes. Like, I love things that taste good. I love knowing where my ingredients and my beans come from and exploring those options, and then preparing them very intentionally and doing that as often as I can. But even though I consider myself a great cook and a coffee snob, most of the food I eat is prepped well in advance or pre-packaged, and most of the coffee I drink is from my batch brewer that I just grind and chuck some beans in every morning and take to school with me in a thermos. Granted, it's a pretty bougie one, so it's a little bit higher level, but in thinking about this week's topic, it struck me as strange that two of my favorite things, most of the time I'm doing haphazardly. I'm doing in a way that is just to get it done for efficiency. And part of that's because I need to eat every day. And at this point, I do need caffeine. But at least when it comes to cooking and coffee, I've raised the bar of that batch prep process to a point that I know it's gonna work and I know it's gonna be pretty good. It won't always be the best thing, but if I did the best thing every single time, I would not be able to live the rest of my life that I want to enjoy, and I would have zero money. So at least with coffee and cooking, the batch process makes sense. I've got it dialed in and it feels pretty sustainable and actually benefits my life, makes it more intentional. The next place I see this sort of batching tasks come into play has been my teaching career. I don't think teaching's unique in that it can sometimes feel like you're on a never-ending hamster wheel of just endless to-dos, students to talk to, essays to grade, lesson plans that you can tweak and tweak and tweak to infinity. And I, especially when I started teaching, but still today, can get stuck on that hamster wheel and feel like maybe if I just check off another task, then I'll feel okay. And that means if a student comes in and asks me a question or a colleague wants to chat about their weekend, sometimes I'm frustrated because they're getting in the way of my plans and I'm not checking off the things I need to do. And then the weekend hits and I'm reevaluating and setting the bar lower and lower and lower. But now after 3 years, I think I have gotten way better at setting realistic expectations for the pace of my classes, for what to expect throughout the day, what I can realistically get done, and also intentionally leaving some space for the spontaneous messiness and sudden conversations and just inevitable things that happen at a school and probably in any work environment. Getting better at planning has helped me stay away from that hamster wheel, but also just realizing that I can't plan myself off it. That's a choice I have to make every day. And sometimes that means really being intentional about sticking to my plan so that I can get the things I need to do done so that then I can be present with students and teachers. So I have my hiding spots now. I get my work done when I need to. Early it was stressful and now I feel pretty comfortable about it. But this weekend, really batching content for this lesson planning life project. And man, I just felt super tied up. Once I got filming, it felt pretty good. But like teaching, suddenly I was like, I need to be filming everything I'm doing. I need to get all the B-roll. Oh, this shot's not good enough. I need to edit all of it now. And that kind of defeated the purpose of batching in the first place. Like, instead of becoming this thing that would make my goals easier and make the process more enjoyable, it felt very taxing. And now I'm halfway through the week. Some of the videos I created didn't do so great. And now I have a bunch more content that's very similar. In some ways, I think this is just a new skill. But I also think when an algorithm gets involved and the potential audience of what I'm working on is massive, like it could be anyone, it's way, way harder to know what's going to work and to learn what's going to work, be able to have a more realistic prediction about what I need to do, especially this early in the process. So in this case, batching the content has actually made me feel less productive and more stuck. I'm just trying to remind myself that before I thought of myself as a great cook and a great teacher, I think I felt similarly. And that's the big thing here. Figuring out efficient ways to batch your systems and put tasks together is a great idea, but only if you have enough experience and data built up over time to really predict what's gonna work and where your time is meant to be spent. I don't think it's been a waste of time batching some of these projects so far, because then I get more feedback faster and I get to just practice using my tools, using my cameras and filming in different areas and scripting. But for the first time, I realized that, yeah, maybe the answer is not always just to get everything done right away. Like, that's not what is actually going to make me feel more peaceful about the processes that I'm doing. Sometimes I just need to do more work. Other times I need to be a little bit more patient. I've learned all of those things through cooking, through coffee, through teaching, and now I just need to remind myself I'm learning it with content as well. Those have been my thoughts this week. If you want to see some of that content, you can check out my Instagram in the bio below, and there'll be a new video out next Thursday. Thanks for watching.